living longer, living healthier, living better than ever before. Welcome to Mountain Pacific's Healthy Living for Life, a weekly series that gives you the information, education, and expert insight you need to become an active participant in today's ever-changing healthcare climate. Here now is today's program host.
Eating healthy isn't always easy. Good nutrition leads to better health and weight loss. Plus, eating the right foods has many benefits to your overall health that you might not even know about. Welcome to Healthy Living for Life, a show dedicated to helping you do just that. I'm your host, Sarah Medley. Today, we not only talk about the benefits of healthy eating, but also how to make it easy, convenient, and affordable. Stay tuned. Welcome back. More than 2/3 of Americans are overweight or obese, often a result of poor eating habits. Helping you lose weight is just one of the many benefits of a healthy diet. This morning, Teresa Hicks, a dietitian and certified diabetes educator, is here to talk about the many, often unknown reasons why eating healthy is good for you. Teresa, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start talking about healthy foods. Give us some examples of healthy foods and why that's important.
Well, there's nutrition, of course, is a big topic. And so even just answering that question, we want to think about what foods are healthy, but also the amount of that food, how often we eat that food, and why we eat food. So nutrition, we want to put it always into the bigger picture. Some foods that have a lot of research behind them that have some known health benefits are plant foods. There's not many foods with more research behind them than plants. We know that plants are incredibly healthy for us. And sometimes we just talk about fruits or vegetables, but I like to open it up and make it a bigger topic and include really all plants. If we think about beans, lentils, nuts, avocados, some of those other items that are plant foods, whole grains, they all have many benefits. One of the reasons why, do you want me to talk about why?
Absolutely.
Okay. My favorite thing about plants is plants have something called phytochemicals. And phyto is the Greek word for plant, and then chemicals. So they are plant chemicals. And those chemicals help that plant grow and be healthy in nature and survive in different environments. When we eat those foods, we get those same or some of those benefits from eating those plant chemicals. Things that we know about, maybe like antioxidants, many people have heard about, but flavonoids, carotenoids, some of these other health benefits, as well as vitamins and minerals and other nutrients. So plants are a big part of eating healthy, including lots of plants in our diet. Another kind of category of healthy foods are paying close attention to healthy fats. So some of those healthy fats are, many people have heard of omega-3s. Those are things found in fish oils, walnuts. Those are shown to be anti-inflammatory and to have health benefits for our heart and our overall system, as well as monounsaturated fats like olive oil and nuts and things that we know from research done on the Mediterranean diet that have a variety of health benefits and are associated with longevity, so a longer life, but also health span, not just living longer, but living healthier.
Can you talk about chronic conditions and nutrition? So we read a lot about heart conditions and other problems. Talk about the nutrition aspect of helping us prevent heart conditions, for example.
Yeah, that's great. A lot of times when we think about eating healthy with chronic disease, people want to know about, what diet do I need for heart disease or diabetes? But what we really want to think about is how do we eat healthy to prevent those? And the diets really aren't much different. It's just that we tend to not implement those diets until there's a problem. But the same things that work for someone to keep a healthy heart after they've had a chronic disease help to prevent or delay that chronic disease. So the same general staples, eating many plant foods, focusing on healthy fats, getting plenty of fiber, paying attention to, trying to decrease processed foods that have unwanted sugars and unhealthy fats. The diets are very similar for preventing and also treating chronic conditions.
You mentioned diabetes. What does a healthy diet look like for someone who suffers from diabetes?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a question I hear a lot as a diabetes educator. So with diabetes, first of all, we want to remember that anyone with any chronic condition needs an individualized meal plan, because you can give 100 people a different diet, and if they've got a chronic condition, they're going to respond a little different. So a person with diabetes should meet with their diabetes educator, their dietitian, to come up with an individualized meal plan. But generally speaking, again, the diabetes diet is the same diet I am on without diabetes, which is a general healthy diet. So with diabetes of course is diagnosed when you have higher blood sugar than normal, right? So there's some criteria that are set. When your blood sugar's over this certain amount, then we say that a person has diabetes. Well, so that means that we tend to focus on just blood sugar. But with diabetes, the number one complication, the number one reason people die when they have diabetes is actually heart attack and stroke. So your blood pressure, your cholesterol, they are just as important as managing blood sugar. And an easy way to remember that is the ABCs of diabetes. So A stands for A1C, which is average blood sugar. B is blood pressure. C is cholesterol. So eating healthy to maintain all three of those puts a person at their lowest possible risk of having a complication related to diabetes.
So in the few seconds that we have left, let's switch gears and talk about bone health. Can you give us a couple of examples of good food for bone health?
Yes. So the main ones we typically think about, of course, are calcium and vitamin D. Vitamin D, many people are low in, so I would recommend people get their levels checked as part of their annual blood draw. Vitamin K, as well as some general nutrition.
Excellent. We're going to pause here for a short break, and we will continue this conversation with Teresa after these messages by talking about how to shop smarter and eat healthier without breaking the bank. Don't go away.